Good evening. Welcome to the Candidates Forum for the Office of County Executive of Prince George's County, Maryland. This Candidates Forum is being sponsored by the following organizations: Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Prince George's Branch, and the National Panhellenic Council, Prince George's County. We welcome all of you attending here in person, as well as our neighbors who are joining us online. My name is Deborah Wilder, a member of the Candidates Forum Planning Committee and representing the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We will now have greetings from our sponsoring organizations in this order. Ms. Cherie Drawn from the National Panhellenic Council, Prince George's County. Ms. Miriam L. Brewer, Prince George's County Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Ms. Linda Thornton Thomas, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Prince George's County Branch.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Cherie Drawn, and I am the president of the National Panhellenic Council of Prince George's County, and affectionately known as the NPHC PGC. The National Panhellenic Council was chartered on May 10th, 1930, on the campus of Howard University, Washington, D.C., with the following members: Omega Psi Phi and Kappa Alpha Psi fraternities, along with sororities Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta sororities. In 1931, Alpha Phi Alpha and Phi Beta Sigma fraternities joined the council. Sigma Gamma Rho sorority joined in 1937, and Iota Phi Theta fraternity completed the list of members organization in 1996. These 9-member organizations stand strong nationally and internationally today. Currently, the National Panhellenic Council of Prince George's County is comprised of 23 affiliated alumni chapters from the 9 Black letter Greek fraternities and sororities. Our primary focus and purpose of member organizations is to support each other's programs, promote camaraderie, academic excellence in our schools, and to serve the Prince George's County. The Prince George's County community through awareness and through action and education, economic and cultural programs. In closing, together we contribute to the political, spiritual, social, economic, and cultural life of Prince George's County. And to find more about National Panhellenic Council, go to our website at NPHC, that's a mouthful, PGMD.org. And by your attendance here tonight, you are helping to build a stronger Prince George's County. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Miriam Brewer, president of the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are happy that you have joined us tonight for the Candidates Forum for County Executive. The Prince George's County Alumni Chapter, founded and established in 1974, is proud to be a partner in this endeavor. We are a membership organization with 1,286 members. We are proud to be a partner in this forum tonight, as this is consistent with our sorority's first social action effort. We marched in the Women's Suffrage March in 1913. That was the first endeavor of our founders. And so being consistent with that, we are proud to be here tonight. We're glad that you have joined us, and we hope that you will find this an informative evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I am so excited to be here, and I'm excited to hear from these candidates. I know they have good information, and they're going to tell you something special about their vision for Prince George's County. I am the president, of course, of the NAACP for Prince George's County. We have in the NAACP 2,100 NAACPs across the country. Although we are the best ones, you know, we don't tout our improvements and things that we are doing over and over again, which we believe are correct. We are working for equity, social injustice. We help people with political rights. And we ask that if you have an opportunity to go to our website, you can see the wonderful things that we do. We have 17 committees, and we need somebody on every one of those. So we're looking for these candidates that are here. We know that they are members of the NAACP, but we're also hoping that they will support us once selected as a county executive. Okay, so we're looking for some good work. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. I know you're going to hear some good information. And please go to our website. It's Prince George's County, NAACP, and join us. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our moderator for this evening, Ms. Joyce Starks from the League of Women Voters, Prince George's County.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and young folks. We're glad to see you all out tonight for the candidate forum for the county executives of Prince George's County. My name is Joyce Starks, and I'm the treasurer and chair of the candidates forum for League of Women Voters of Prince George's County, as well as the president of the League of Women Voters for the National Capital Area, which covers Maryland, DC, and Virginia. The League of Women Voters is an organization that's nonpartisan. It's for political organizations that encourage, inform, and it also deals with active participation in government. It works well to increase the understanding of major public policy issues and influence public policy through education and advocacy. The League of Women Voters is proud to join you tonight for the forum for all candidates who have met the qualifications to be on the ballot for the 2022 slate for county executive of Prince George's County. The index cards that are in your seats are for the purpose of you writing your questions. And after you complete your questions, just wave them in the air. Someone will come by to pick the questions up. Please refrain from any outbursts. We want to make sure that you're safe and that you will stay inside this facility for this forum and not be escorted out. Tonight, we have 5 candidates that are running for the position of county executive in Prince George's County. We have Angela Ossobrook. We have Sherman Hardy. And we have Mosette Sweat. Not present at the present time is Mr. Lee Bowden, who may be joining us later. And we have Mr. Billy Bridges, who will not be joining us tonight. And I'll read his statement. Mr. Billings had some issues relating with his family. So these are his exact words, and I'll read them as they were written. To the event organizers, audience, and candidates, I regret that I'm not able to attend this important event due to a family issue out of state. I want you to all know that our campaign is a blue-collar campaign driven by faith. Our campaign is all about allowing citizens of any income level to invest in projects that will create some generational wealth eventually freeing our senior citizens from any property taxes, getting away from policies to public safety that focuses on working with the communities to get the guns off the street and create safe neighborhoods. Actually taking responsibility to reorganize the school system geared for excellence in a safe environment, creating a mobile health department to reach all communities, seeking citizen involvement and holding every office in this county accountable through the new Inspector General. Visit us at his website, and he says, God bless. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to hear from each of the candidates as they express their views on diverse areas of interest as it relates to seeking position for the County Executive of Maryland. I'm proud to have with me two of my friends from the League of Women Voters. I have Ms. Tammy Norman, who will be collecting and screening your questions as you turn them in on the index cards. And I also have Ms. Barbara Taha, who is the timekeeper for tonight. She will indicate whether you should continue or stop. So she has two different colors. One color is yellow. That means that it is 15 seconds from stopping. The other color is red, which indicates you are to stop. We hope that you will respect those two colors and adhere to the League of Women Voters policy on answering questions. Prior to coming to the forum, each candidate was sent an invitation. The invitation listed the ground rules the candidates are advised to follow. Each candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for opening statements. Questions will be taken from the audience, from the chat box, as well as questions that were submitted during the time of registration. There will be no open mic, none. Candidates will answer each question within 2 minutes. 1 minute will be allowed for each candidate to make a summation 2 minutes will be allowed at the end for each candidate to make a summation. Questions during the forum will be presented to the candidates by myself, the moderator. Audience questions and candidates' comments must all be related to a question that is general in nature, nothing specific or personal to any one of the candidates. When there are several questions that are similar, the moderator will attempt to consolidate them into one question. We thank you for taking the time to write the questions. All questions may not be answered due to time constraints, so please don't get upset if we don't call your question. Now it's time for us to get started to what you're here for. You're here to hear from the candidates, not me. So we will start with opening statements. We'll start in alphabetical order, the opening statements, and then each candidate will have a chance to answer a question or several questions first. Is it on? So we will start with opening statements. We'll start with Ms. Alsobrooks.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to Joyce Stark and the League of Women Voters and all of the other hosts for tonight's event, the National Panhellenic Council, Delta Sigma Theta, and NAACP, and to everyone who's come out. I am Angela Alsobrooks. I'm a very proud, lifelong Prince Georgian. You know also that I have served as your elected state's attorney for 8 years. During the time that I served as your state's attorney, I oversaw as the chief law enforcement officer of the county, the largest violent crime reduction in the county's history. At the time that I ended my tenure, we were at a beyond 50-year low in violent crime. You know as well that I was blessed to be elected as your county executive in 2018. You often hear me say that Prince George's County is the crown jewel of Maryland. I say that because I believe it. There is no place like Prince George's County, a place that is unique and vibrant. I challenge us to find any place like it across the country. During my time as county executive, we were faced with great challenges together, from a national global pandemic, to rising crime and also rising inflation that has really caused so many of our families now to be concerned about putting food on their table. But during that time, I want you to know that we have also seen tremendous progress. It was my design to make sure that we would see this. So we were able to build 9 new schools. We were able to open a mental health and addictions care facility. During that time, we have also been able to see 95% of the jobs that we lost during the pandemic have been recovered. We opened a veteran center and much more. I'm happy tonight to talk with you about the tremendous progress that we have made as a county, and even more excited to talk about the future of our beautiful county. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Sherman Hardy.
Greetings. Thank you all for being here. My name is Sherman Hardy, and I'm going to be your next county executive for Prince George's County. I am a creative, independent thinker who has been a longtime activist and advocate in Prince George's County. I've marched for us to have the ability to have a police accountability board. I put bricks on my body during George Floyd incident to highlight the weight of what was going on in our society on this. In order for us to review use of force and the training within the police department, I tested your waters, poisoned waters in Prince George's County from PFAS. And now our county is suing 3M and DuPont because of my advocacy. I've also been around very long time to advocate for housing issues in Prince George's County. Because of me and a lot of people on the Housing Opportunity for Our Committee, now we have a $20 million investment for affordable housing within Prince George's County. We've also invested in land banking to ensure that we continue to have affordable housing in Prince George's County. I've been there for you. I understand you. I am you. I'm running for county executive to make a change, a vision to victory, to ensure that we are preparing our generations beyond 2035, to make sure that we have a future for Prince George's most vulnerable, that we take care of each and every person in our county, to include the middle class. I've been there fighting for Prince George's. And I understand that we have a few issues that we're facing here, and I bring you solutions. Today, you'll hear about many of the solutions that I want to bring about, but some of them you probably won't. But I encourage you to visit my website at www.hardyforpg.com, the number 4, so that you can learn more about my advocacy and how much I truly and deeply care and what I've done for the county to make it better for us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Next, we'll hear from Ms. Mozette Sweat.
Good evening, everyone. Since you're using my government name, I'm going to tell you what my birth name is, and then I'll tell you what the name of the university is about. In order to give me a frame of mind to let me know that I was not poor, even though I did not come from financial wealth. My mother named me Moisette, and Tanya, my married name is Sweat. On the ballot it reads, Moisette Tanya Sweat. I am here because of 2 people who are sitting in the audience with me tonight, and I want you to see them. First, though, I want to introduce you to my first husband, Mr. Terry Sweat. The 2 people I call my reason for being, my birth children, my son Joshua, who is a graduate of Oxon Hill High School, class of 22, stand up, darling, and my baby girl, Miss Terry Sweat, who is currently a 4th grader at Active Keep Academy. I'm running for them. I'm running for you. My priorities are our children. We all know what's going on with our education system, and I intend to address it. It's my responsibility as a PTA mom, as a mom, and as a community member to make sure we get that right. I want to address the needs of our community. That includes everyone that is not directly affected or directly related to our children. And I'm going to do that with competence. And my competence comes from 25 years of service as an attorney, 20 of those in the federal government, a United States Air Force veteran, and a federal financial regulator. I look forward to answering your questions this evening and telling you a little bit more about my vision for Prince George's County.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. Okay. Yes. Because this forum is virtual as well, we want to make sure that your answers are clear to the folks that are online. So please speak clearly into the mic. We will start with the questions. The first question is going to Ms. Sweat. This area of questioning deals with crime and the improvement of public safety in the county. When I phrase the questions, if you need me to repeat, please let me know. If you need time to jot it down, let me know that as well. The question is, what is your vision to decrease gun violence, especially among our youth? What is your vision to interact with the Police Accountability Board that will be stood up on July 1st, 2022? And what is your philosophy on police reform? Okay, I'll repeat the question. It's a three-part, but you can answer it as one. What is your vision to decrease gun violence, especially among our youth? What is your vision to interact with the Police Accountability Board that will be stood up on July 1st, 2022? And what is your philosophy on police reform?
I appreciate those questions. First and foremost, I need our community to understand that crime is not the problem. It's a symptom. In this county, we have the highest rate of disconnected youth, which means they don't have a job. Many of them are not employable because our education systems have failed them. So to reduce crime, we need to rehabilitate and remediate many of our young people so that they can get gainful employment. That doesn't mean they have to go to college. We can bring a robust workforce development program to the county and then introduce diversion programs to give them a carrot and not a stick when they do find themselves in trouble. My interactions with the Police Accountability Board will be often and regularly. As the county executive, one of my responsibilities will be to hire or appoint a police chief. So I want to make sure our police department is following the law and they're not abusing our citizens. The way that I will know that and to be able to hold our police chief accountable for the work that they're doing is through the PAB. So I will interact with them regularly and often, not to tell them what to do, but to get insight on what they're finding and to get recommendations on where we need to make improvements. My philosophy on the police. I am married to the police. My husband is a former deputy sheriff. He served when we lived in Okaloosa County, Florida. I love the police. I believe they are to protect and serve, and we got to get back to community policing. So I intend to train our police force on what that is and implement it right here in Prince George's County.
Thank you. Mr. Hardy?
Yes, thank you. My vision to decrease gun violence within Prince George's County is to create a task force that will be able to um, respond to these incidents and also to investigate the same. We should definitely include our ATF partners and federal partners and state and local police agencies to be able to determine where are these guns coming from and how we can stop them. It isn't a symptom of just adolescents and children with guns and firearms. As I monitor the police department's blogs, I see constantly all the time, the different shootings that are happening in this county, and we have to do something about it. It's more of an accountability issue as well. I know that we have created diversionary programs and we have done a multitude of things, and we can invest more in different programs, but most importantly, we need accountability within our community. That goes for the police, that goes for the persons who are committing these crimes. And it's upon accountability for the community as well, so to hold our family and our friends and the people in our community accountable. In order to do these things, I also want to and keeping in the name of police reform, I believe that police should be guardians. We have to go out and make sure that we are not over policing our communities, but we're doing it effectively and efficiently. And as a former military policeman and also a dispatcher for a police department, I understand the intricacies of policing. I also want to establish public service aid that will be able to respond to nonviolent incidents that are not in progress, so that we can free up our officers to be able to respond to incidents much sooner and shorten their time frame of response. Outside of that, I know that we talk about the Police Accountability Board, and as I mentioned earlier, I protested and I advocated for that, and also wrote a petition so that we could review the use of force. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Ms. Alsabrook?
Thank you. So this is an area, of course, that I have a lot of experience. I started 25 years ago in 1997 as the first ever full-time domestic violence prosecutor in the state's attorney's office, and had the opportunity during that time to work in juvenile court and to work in all of the units in the state's attorney's office. And this is what I can tell you about juveniles and crime. What you're seeing today is really a function of two things that have to happen. One is that we have to heal our children. Many of our children sat home during this pandemic. They were on social media. They suffered greatly psychologically. And so many of our kids are hurting. We have to heal our children. As of today, I just opened a new addictions and mental health care facility in Prince George's County that begins to see children even on an emergency basis as young as 4 years old. We have also invested significantly in the Summer Youth Enrichment Program. I doubled the amount of youth that we're able to employ. This summer, we promised and we have delivered that every single child who applied through the Summer Youth Enrichment Program would have a job, and they have. We have likewise invested in mental health care in our school system. We have invested in mentoring. We have implemented something called Hope in Action, where we have violence interrupters on the streets who are working through 16 nonprofit organizations that the government has funded. So we have to invest in kids, but we have to hold them accountable. This is the piece that absolutely has to happen. We talk a lot about justice, and I believe in it, transparency, fairness, that the police ought to be accountable, but freedom is big as well, meaning that our elders and our family members ought to be able to walk the streets without fear. We have to expect and hold accountable our criminal justice system to make sure that those who are armed, dangerous, and hurting us have to be held accountable in order for us to be safe.
Thank you, Ms. Alsabrook. The next question is going to relate to your qualifications in the position of county executive. What are your top priorities in the first 120 days? And also, what will be your working relationship with the county council? And also, racial injustice. 3-part. Top priorities for the first 120 days, working relationship with the county council, and racial injustice. Mr. Hardy, can you answer the question first?
Yeah, absolutely. My top priorities with 120 days is to bring true trust and transparency to governance. And that's by establishing my Office of Inspector General, the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, and also working on other issues such as completing the mission of police accountability and reform. And I didn't get to finish that question earlier, but that includes on allowing the accountability board to be able to audit the body cameras, outside of any incident, just to do a random audit. But my working relationships with the county council, it will be an effective one, an official one. It is to ensure that we uphold our democracy and the balance of governance, where we have the executive branch and then we have the legislative branch. Many of them I currently have worked with, already on a lot of the issues that, and policies that have been put forth, whether it be local, state, or federal government. I've worked with all of our officials, so it will continuously be that way. As far as racial injustices, I consider myself a social justice and advocate. I was a secretary for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and part of my vision was to make sure that we are registering voters and make sure that we're educated voters, that we were standing up against issues that, as we see that happen in January 6th. These are instances where I have been very vocal in protecting our democracy and furthering and dismantling racial prejudice and systemic issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Ms. Also Brooks?
Thank you. You know what? I lost time the last time. I didn't get to finish answering the question. So I'll tell you, where crime is concerned, I think that is the single greatest priority that we should have right now, any executive, and that will be my continuing priority, is to really get a handle on what we see in rising crime. Part of the question asking about police accountability, I can tell you this. The first office that I established as state's attorney in 2010 was the Special Prosecution Unit. It's a unit that currently exists in the state's attorney's office to review every use of force by the police department and to make decisions about when crimes have been committed and should be charged. The Police Accountability Board is one that, the county executive shares with the county council in terms of impaneling individuals. It is an independent body. I will accept recommendations from that body and follow those recommendations. We will also continue, as I mentioned, to invest in our young people, invest in our community, and that means creating jobs. As I mentioned, we have recovered 95% of the jobs we lost during the pandemic. We expect to recover 100% by the end of the year. So continuing to make sure that our county can recover economically is also a priority. Affordable housing, I have, along with the county council, which I'm proud of the relationship we've had, we've invested $56 million just in the last year in affordable housing, making sure that our residents have affordable and workforce housing, our seniors can stay in their homes, those who work in the grocery stores can afford to stay in their homes, as well as continuing to invest in education. Broke ground on 9 new schools just last year alone. We're going to be breaking ground on an additional set of schools, as well as making critical investments all throughout our county in economic development, especially around our transit centers. Look for the FBI headquarters, which we pray will come to us. Look as well for investments along the Blue Line corridor. And those are many of the investments that we're looking forward to. So we have many, many priorities, but healthcare, education, crime, and job recovery and economic recovery are some of our key priorities.
Thank you, Ms. Also Brooks. The next set of questions deal with development and land use. What is your view on it? Oh, please, I'm sorry.
No apologies necessary.
Stuff happens.
Qualifications for the position. I was brought here in December 1999 as a part of a joint task force to inaugurate our 43rd president of the United States. I was the legal advisor for that team. After I left the United States Air Force, I became a financial regulator. I wrote laws, worked for politicians for the next 15 years of my career. My last job in federal service was as the manager of a nationwide program that investigated fair lending discrimination at our financial institutions. My claim to fame in civil service is I was a part of the team that wrote the regulations that became the foundation for the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. So with that, what are my top priorities in my first 120 days? Got a lot of priorities and it's hard to choose which ones I got to start with first. But I got to start where I started in the beginning. I got to start with our children. State law requires the county executive to select a CEO for Prince George's County Public Schools. That requires a nationwide search. That will begin immediately after my installation as county executive. I have to keep the main thing, the main thing. We got to take care of our babies. After that, we're going to deal with looking at our county finances. Too many of us have questions about where the money is being spent. So we've got to look at our county finances. And then after that, I want to start building that relationship with the county council. I don't want them to rubber stamp what I do. I want them to hold me accountable. We have 3 separate branches of government for a reason. And I want them to function as a legislative branch to make sure the executive branch does what it's supposed to do in this county. As it relates to racial justice, my entire run is about racial justice and what's happening in this county right now, from healthcare to environmental injustices, the losses of people's homes, the rising cost to live here. So everything I do is for the people of Prince George's County in the interest of civil justice for all of us.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. The next question starts with Ms. Also Brooks. What is your view on improving development in our country? In our county, sorry.
Well, you know, the thing I hear most from residents is how concerned they are about their property taxes. And the thing I can tell you is that one of the issues we have in Prince George's County is that 70% of all of the revenues that we generate to pay for your public safety, education, road improvements, disability services, all of those things come from residential property taxes, 70% of it. Only 30% comes from commercial and business taxes. This is a major problem for us. We have got to increase the commercial revenues of our county in order to afford all of the goods and services and to alleviate the strain that we have placed on the backs of residents. We do this with smart development. Around those 15 metro stations, we've already started the process of doing this. You'll notice around our metro stations, including Suitland, where you see a beautiful project coming. You'll notice New Carrollton. So we'll continue transit-oriented development. We'll also continue to encourage federal agencies to come into Prince George's County so that we increase that federal presence and we are able to bring those jobs here. We're working also to bring technology into Prince George's. You know, Prince George's is the quantum computing capital of the world. And so that is here as well. I want you to recognize, many people don't understand this, that where development is concerned, the county council is in charge of land use and the county executive is not. I hear so often that people are concerned about Royal Farms. They ask me why in the world we have so many of those, why we have so many also townhomes. You all should understand the county executive does not have authority over those issues. That is the county council, but I will continue to work with them as well as Maryland National Capital Park and Planning to make sure that we're increasing those commercial taxes in a way that benefits our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Also Brooks. Ms. Sweat, the same question.
Thank you. One of the things we have to do is look at how we've been doing development in the county because it has not been smart. I understand the need for revenue, therefore the high rate of residential construction, but we are not building infrastructure. We've not taken care of our schools. Many of them are overcrowded. We must do smart development. And one of the things I will advocate with the county council about is reinstating that surcharge to help us with the infrastructure improvements we need to support the residential construction that has already started. Developers won't like that, but we've got to build roads. We've got to renovate and build new schools. 9 of them is not going to be enough. The other thing we need to do when it comes to development, we've got to recruit commercial institutions into our county, not the federal government. Federal government's not going to pay us taxes. That's not going to increase our revenue. So we've got to work on our workforce. We've got to improve our education system so that we have a quality labor force that will be attractive
to commercial retailers, restaurant establishments that we want to see, shopping that we want to see. And with the improvements in education, they will come to the county because we'll have a labor force that can support the businesses, and that then will increase our commercial tax revenue. And some of that commercial business can be industry where we can put some of our children to work.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. I'm going to ask that you guys louden your voices a little bit more. I know that you're trying to do the professional voice, but you need to scream into the mic so that everyone can hear. You have great answers, and I want to make sure that the folks online, as well as our beautiful audience, can hear you. So let's go to Mr. Hardy.
Yes, I just want to say, first of all, that you can go to my website or actually my Instagram, my Facebook, and see my plans for smart growth and development right here in Prince George's County at Hardy, the number 4 PG. I designed what we can have instead of the FedEx Hill because, you know, those plans may not work out and we have to have a plan B. You know, there's always a chance. When we look at smart growth and development, we want to make sure that we're actually using contractors from within Prince George's County and minority contractors at that. You know, one of the councilmen likes to highlight that we had less than 1%, you know, that built the hospital or the National Harbor, as you all have known. We need to have policies that make sure that we're using our people right here. We have all the resources that we need, and I think we need to do that effectively and efficiently. And we need to definitely use smart corridors and invest in that. But I also want to go back to one further thing. We were talking about crime earlier, because in talking about accountability and programs that we're establishing, when we pay $17 million for someone who was murdered inside a police vehicle, you know, where was the accountability in that? When we spend $24 million defending racism and discrimination within a police department, where is accountability during that? You know, in the Grant report that dictates how our police department has not been up to par with training and use of force and all those things. We're not using the current policing methods. Where is accountability during that? So I want to make sure that when we talk about accountability, we do it from all aspects and be truthful about it, because it's a shame that, you know, we are going and facing a lot of these things within our county, and we only talk about them at events like this, but it's important that we do that. But back to smart growth and development. Once again, visit my website, www.hardyforpg.com. You can see a lot of my plans there and also on my social media. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowden, we're glad you joined us, so welcome.
Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, what was the question?
Okay. What is your view on improving development in our county?
Development in our county. Well, I think, and I did get a chance to introduce myself. I mean, maybe I'll do that later, but development in the county, I think we need to develop our children. And that was spoken about. And we need more programs, more centers for our children. Obviously, I'm sure we talk about education and our buildings and our schools where our children spend most of their day, and we're second to last in maintenance of our schools in the state. But we need to develop our children to go out into the workforce, to be prepared and to counter all these other counties that are developing faster than us, more than us. And if we don't do that, then we're going to be behind in the future. And we talk about the children all the time, being the future. And if we don't develop them, develop the schools, develop programs, develop centers for them, you know, and that's obviously going to alleviate crime. It's going to get them out of trouble. I think that the development there needs to be strong, and I don't see, because I've been in Prince George's County since I was 10 years old, and I haven't seen the growth and the development in the school system with the leaders of the schools, the leaders in the police department, and we have to hold these people accountable. I know we talked about that as well. We have to hold these people accountable, and that's what a strong leader does. They hold people accountable, they demand excellence, and if we don't demand excellence from our children, then our future isn't going to be where it needs to be, and that's what I'm fighting for, and that's what I'm up here for. That's why I'm running for county executive, because our children need the development, schools, and ultimately, I think it's programs and it's centers that our children need and that we need to start building for them, for their future, and so they can stay out of trouble, because we talk about crime here a lot in our youth, and they need places to go in this county.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. And Ms. Also Brooks. The next question deals with, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go to Ms. Sweat first. The next question deals with your vision of addressing mental health in Prince George's County.
My vision for addressing mental health. That's the buzzword of the day. It seems like everybody's crazy nowadays. We all have our own emotional stressors that we have to deal with. And I'm somewhat saddened by the fact that the media harps on mental health like everybody is broken, or like most of us can't be perfect. And I'm not saying that we should be perfect. Stress is a part of life. What we need to do is work customer service, quality service into everything we do. It changes how we interact with each other. Much of what we're seeing in society is, yes, a lot of stressors, whether it be the pandemic, whether it be a lack of money, whether it be a shortage of baby formula, whether it be people on the highway driving recklessly, weaving in and out of the traffic, too much traffic. That stresses everybody. So to say we have to build more mental health facilities gives the impression that we're all going crazy, and we're not. What we've got to do is work back into our daily lives. Courtesy, manners, politeness in the way we interact with people. And how will I do that? I'll start doing it with government employees. Because too many times I hear my neighbors say they called to talk to government employees who had a nasty attitude. And that's horrible. Leadership has to set the standard. So if the employees in the county government start showing a little love, consideration, patience, and courtesy to the residents of the county, it might not be so stressful. And then those who need it, we can use social services and the Department of Family Services to fill a gap.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. Next, Mr. Hardy.
Yes, as someone that has experienced mental health, by working, well, for myself personally, and also through advocacy, definitely I understand this process intricately. First, let me say that it's important that we get doctors and persons that can help us, that look like us, or that can identify with a lot of this, the struggles that we face as individuals, because we have a lot of trauma in our DNA, and that's something that we have to address as well. But I also want to open up access. We have to talk about not only having the facilities, but having affordability as an option as well, or methods that can, through our departments, to help persons who are having or experiencing crisis. And I believe that we're going to need to build more facilities, because 700 beds for a county of nearly 1 million, and if we're having that many problems, I think we're going to need more than 700 beds. So that will be part of our administration, as well as someone who understands mental health and someone who wants to see that we all are doing better and elevating. But most importantly, part of mental health is accountability. And that's a key component that we cannot lapse and let go and to the side.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Next is Mr. Bowden.
And it's Biden.
Barton, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So I like to have fun. Again, my background, I'll get into it a little bit. I played 9 years in the NFL, and I'm from here. I graduated from Northwestern High School. I have a Lee Barton Foundation, and I've served the community doing numerous things. But what I did in 2019, I did and partnered with Lawrence Law, and we did a mental health awareness kickball game that was at Bowie Bay Sox Stadium. And it gave people a chance to, one, have fun, but then understand that, the stigma of mental health awareness, and giving awareness to people and giving them resources there to go to, because sometimes people do not know where to go for these problems that they have. And so to me, I think, we just need to do community outreach, community fun events to bring everyone together, to have fun, to, spread joy, spread light, spread love to one another. And honestly, as well, I think we need to start, having better food options around here, because that has a lot to do with mental health. Serotonin is in the brain, and that affects your mood. And a lot of these foods that we have in our community, isn't good for, our internal, our brain, our gut health, and our immune system, which affects, your moods. And I think those things need to be changed in order for mental health awareness to kind of subside. And for the people that, do need it, we do need to have more resources and people in schools, especially with children going through bullying, whether it's teacher bullying or whether it's peers bullying. We need more of those mental health awareness or mental health people that can give and support our children when they are going through these things. And a lot of times this goes on too, the police are called, through mental health situations, and we obviously need different people to get to those situations and not the police, because, mental health is something that is really, rampant, I would say, in our community, and we need to alleviate it and not, escalate it.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden.
Oh, Lord, I need at least 6 minutes to clear up what was just said, and I only have 2, so let me try to get to it really quickly. First of all, minimizing mental health is a horrible thing. It's the kind of ignorance that has hurt our community for a very long time. We make decisions about mental health care in our community based on data. We conducted a study in 2019, a health needs assessment, and learned that the #1 health need in our community was mental health care. We know that for too long, Prince Georgians have not only suffered from anxiety, depression, from substance misuse, but we know as well that over half of all the individuals who have needed inpatient care for mental health have had to go elsewhere outside the county to get it out of 1,900 individuals. We know as well that of 70% of all the people who are arrested every day, for those who claim they care about criminal justice reform, over 70% of the people we arrest every day and take to jail are intoxicated when they get there. A third of all the people we arrest on any given day and take to the Department of Corrections are on psychotropic drugs and are there because they suffer from mental illness. It is cruel for us to continue to treat people in jail, to recycle them who are suffering from mental illness and addictions care, because we do not have the facilities that they need. I've done something about this. Today, as a result of this concern that I have had for a very long time, I reallocated $20 million away from a police training facility and instead built a mental health facility and addictions care facility that opened its doors today. We can care not only for our babies in that facility, but we will be able to care for our other family members in that facility. This is a huge issue for us. If we do not have our mental health, we have nothing in our communities. And so we have to take it very seriously. Let me just try to clear up a couple of other things that were said that are totally wrong. It'll take me 6 to 8 minutes to do it. School overcrowding, of course, $8.5 billion in backlog. We broke ground on 9 schools in Prince George. It's the most in history No school in the state of Maryland, no county in the state of Maryland has ever done this before. We're breaking ground on another 6 next year, 15 schools that we will build in this county in 6 years. Unprecedented, locally or nationally, to have ever been able to do this. We know as well that $235 million from the first 6 schools must go to small, local, and minority businesses. We're building wealth, we're building schools in our county at the same time. Accountability. William Green, the person who shot that police officer in the car, that was the first time in the history of the county we've ever charged murder for a police officer who killed someone in our county, did it under my administration. I'll give you more the next answer. Thank you.
What
The
about
next-
the Brady list?
Why are we building more liquor
Excuse
stores?
me,
Why do we have more
excuse
liquor
me,
stores than we have grocery
excuse me,
stores If we're talking about
Excuse
mental
me,
health?
we
They have alcohol.
excuse me, sir. We have to adhere to the questions and answer and your time period that you have.
I didn't have a couple minutes earlier.
No, if you're late, you're late.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
all right.
Yes, ma'am. Please introduce. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I apologize. Thank you. Okay, okay. Thank you. I didn't know, yeah, I was wondering why. Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much. You can answer this question first, Mr. Bowden. How would you go about making Prince George's County school system a top-notch school system like our neighboring counties?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Again, I'm a political outsider, but what I would do is go to the neighboring counties and talk to the neighboring counties to see what they have done. Again, I have to preface, me playing football because, you know, I played cornerback and I looked at, let's say, a Deion Sanders or Charles Woodson, and I took things from them and then implemented into my game. And that's the same process that I feel like I would do with Prince George's County. You just go to the neighboring counties and see what they've done and what you can implement into your county to make it better. But in my opinion, I think, you know, the curriculum needs to be bolstered. Again, programs need to be for all of the children and not just a select few. And obviously, you know, she talked about, you know, building new schools, which is great. And we need that as well. But I think bolstering it is getting programs and it's getting leaders. And we need to start getting teachers because there's a lot of great teachers that are leaving this county and going to other counties that are making them improve. And, you know, we're not getting the top-notch teachers here. And it's not saying that we don't have top-notch teachers here, but it's a lot of teachers that are in Prince George's County living here and going elsewhere because they feel like their pay is more. And so we have to find a way to pay our teachers more. And we have to find a way, obviously, to get more schools, build more schools, and make more schools enjoyable for our children. And we have to stop, again, in my opinion, we don't teach these children. Testing is, we test them too much. We don't have skill-based learning. They're not learning any skills. I'm not saying any, excuse me, but we need to have more skill-based learning instead of testing in our schools. So in order for us to be able to get a better school system, I think it's leadership. And I think in the leadership with the teachers and the programs, and that's what we need for better schools in our county.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. Next, we have Ms. Alsobrooks.
The county executive has a very specific role where schools are concerned. The exclusive responsibility of the county executive is to fund education and to choose the school CEO. That's true in Prince George's and every other county in the state. What I've done in this regard is the reason that we focus on school construction, for example, is because, again, the county executive's role is to fund education. I believe that we do that. We do it at the highest level. For example, this year I funded education at the highest level it's ever been funded in the history of Prince George's County. $2.6 billion budget, which is a 12% increase over what we did last year. Again, the single largest increase in school funding in school history. I'm also making sure that I selected an excellent school CEO, Dr. Monica Golson, who has overseen our school system, working with parents and educators, and making sure that we have done things like fund mental health care in our school system. We have also funded athletics and made sure that we had character building in our schools, mentoring, made sure that we had vision care and dental care. So a holistic approach to making sure that we are able to support our students, but we also have to support their parents and support their family members and make sure that they are able to be engaged in the education of their children. I've engaged in the Blueprint for Excellence in Annapolis, making sure that we funded not only what happened in terms of school buildings, but what happened in the classroom. Pre-K education, we have funded at historic levels. We've increased the number of pre-K seats in our classrooms and schools, and we've also added paraprofessionals. So we still have a lot of work to do, but it is working to bolster parents, educators, and making sure that we care for our students.
Thank you. Ms. Webb?
Thank you for that question. It actually ties into the last question about mental health. There's a difference between mental health and emotional health. And to make our schools a top-notch system, we've got to deal with them. Great, we got 9 schools coming. Our schools have been in poor shape for the last 20 years. And Ms. Also Brooks used to be education liaison. Matter of fact, she was the education liaison when the dysfunction in our school system began. So you would think she would have come into the job day one with some ideas on what we needed to do to rehabilitate the poor and unhealthy conditions in our schools. If you've been into some of our schools and the roaches are running through the building in the cafeteria and the rats are in the building, that's not good for our children's emotional health. And don't tell me my kids need to be medicated to deal with that. That should have been addressed a long time ago. The state also passed a law that says we're supposed to have trauma-informed policies in our school system. I've yet, as a parent of the PGCPS child, a student current, I've yet to see a policy come home that I can look at, sign off on, and support. Yes, our children just went through COVID. They were in virtual learning for a year. They lost social contact with many of their friends for a school year. That affected their emotional health. But don't tell me I need to put them in a room with white padded walls and tie them to a bed and shoot them up with needles to make them healthy. We need to teach our teachers how to love our children through the trauma they've been through. And oh, by the way, we need to pay our teachers because they stress because they don't make enough money to pay their own bills and buy groceries for their own children. They lost money during the Great Recession and have yet to get their raises put back in place so that they can live in this county. Our bus drivers and paraprofessionals are treated like second-class citizens. So you want to talk about how to make our schools top-notch? Let's take care of our people and then advocate for the money we need to create the healthy environments for them to work and learn in.
Okay, I'd like to suggest that we not name names. It's okay to make your statement, but let's not name names. Thank you. Mr. Hardy?
Yes, I also want to highlight another thing, another power that the position of county executive has, and that's appointing board members currently. A missed opportunity for 3 years before we did a board and a study to fulfill the campaign promise. So I just want to say that when we say that the powers of what we have and we cause the author of confusion by appointing several members who have stalled our board system through one of the most tumultuous times of crisis that we have ever had in our lives. You know, we have to be cognizant of that and also determine how we can effectively and efficiently repair our system, our school system. Currently, individuals still holds a seat and they are definitely have been asked to step down by our county leadership. But as far as education, I also have to highlight that the teachers are currently protesting for fair wages. as a realtor in this county, I have assisted many of Prince George's County Public School teachers and paraprofessionals and different individuals, assisted them in buying a house in Baltimore and Charles County and different other spaces. So I think that's important. But to answer the question, I want to say that as an innovator and someone who thinks forward, I want to bring 3D printing and also increase our CTE programs within school. I also want to bring in the metaverse to help expand our minds and help our kids be able to think and dream the imaginable. I want to bring back agriculture to our school system and help the rural tier redevelop and expand our agricultural process, but also want to bring back community-based schools. You know, currently this administration has closed a community-based school, and it was very unfortunate. And someone harassed one of the students for speaking up about it. I lend my voice to that, and I will do it again. We need more community-based classrooms in schools so that we can prevent a lot of the violence and a lot of the disturbance and mental health crisis in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Mr. Bolden?
I thought I started,
Did you start?
yeah, I started this one.
Ms. Alston Brooks? I thought you started. I thought you started. No?
I think we're ready for the next question.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. Mr. Hardy? What is your vision to compete and collaborate with surrounding counties to bring resources, businesses, investments, et cetera, to Prince George's County?
In order to compete with the surrounding areas, we need to create more incubator programs for businesses and focus on businesses that are right here in Prince George's County. I tell people in this before I even started running that we have all the resources right here. If you look around this room, I know you're connected to somebody who knows something about something that can be done. And I believe that, you know, we should invest here first before we try to go outside of our county. But also outside of creating incubators to compete with surrounding areas, we have to make sure that our property taxes align. And my plan is to actually decrease property taxes in order to generate, to help with affordable housing, which would also assist with our commercial space on the flip side, because they don't run hand in hand, but it also, we need to increase the commercial spaces, what I'm trying to say, I'm sorry, for our footprint, first of all, and the infrastructure so that we can be able to compete with our surrounding cities. Right now, most of people who I come in contact spend a lot of their money outside of our county, and they're sending social services to DC and Virginia and to elsewhere. So my goal is first to create the space that we can actually have in order to invite them in, because when you build it, they will come. And that's first and foremost. But to compete with surrounding areas, we don't have to compete with them. We know who we are. We're Prince George's County, and we can do it by having the people and the resources that we already have and expound upon that to make our county as great as we say it is.
Thank you. Mr. Bolden?
Biden,
Barton? Sorry.
sorry. Can you give me the question one more time, please?
Sure. What is the vision to compete and collaborate with surrounding counties to bring resources, businesses, investments, et cetera, to Prince George's County?
Right, well, you know, to compete with them, obviously you have to know what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to look within. I think a lot of times we always look for big businesses, which, I mean, we need that as well. But I think we got to start, we have some great small businesses and we need to bolster those small businesses. You know, I mean, everybody watches Shark Tank and there are always, you know, some great, you know, businesses that all they need is funding to be able to, you know, compete with, let's just say, even the Ruth Chris of the world, or, you know, the Panera Breads or whatever. There are small businesses here. And I think we need to start bolstering those small businesses and, you know, kind of create our own lane at times. We don't need to be like everybody else. And I think keeping the money here, like Sherman said, we always going outside. And so we have to find a way to get these, the shopping, more shopping here, more restaurants. I mean, I live in the Bowie area and, you know, what's around me is KFC and Pizza Hut and and I paid a lot of money for my house. And, if I go to Montgomery County and I paid a lot of money for that house, that's not going to be surrounding, that area. So we have to find a way to get, these, higher end stores, higher end restaurants to come here, but also we have to bolster our small businesses and small, business owners to, be able to compete and be just as good as those big businesses.
Thank you, Ms. Hulseth Brooks.
So everyone recognizes that Prince George's County has the largest concentration of food deserts in the region. This is a very long-standing problem with us not having access to the restaurants that we would desire, to retail that we desire, and so we've done something about it. In terms of how we compete with the region, this is what we have done. Made important infrastructure investments in our county. That includes $56 million that we have made in affordable and workforce housing to ensure that Prince Georgians, even as we grow and prosper, have the opportunity to live here, not only seniors, but our teachers, firefighters, and others, making sure that we have an affordable housing market that will attract not only Prince Georgians to live here, but making sure that others around the region find us affordable. $66 million in roads and infrastructure along 202, areas like Seat Pleasant, District Heights, and areas that have before now not seen any investment. We're making road improvements and investments there. $2.5 million in front of the new project in Suitland, road improvements along Branch Avenue in those areas as well. So those are things that we make public investments in that will attract private investment and get us those restaurants and businesses that we desire. We also made important investments during COVID, including $70 million in rental assistance to make sure that our residents could afford to live here, and $40 million in small businesses, including 70% of those are minority businesses. We have to collaborate. This is a region that is a very strong region, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So we've worked with the District of Columbia, for example, to work together to compete for the soccer tournaments and other things that come to the area so that we attract those jobs and opportunities to Prince George's County.
Thank you. Ms. Sweat.
I appreciate the question. However, I have to agree with Mr. Hardy. This is not about competition. This is about Prince Georgians being the best that they can be. And if others find it attractive to come here, then that's great. But we're here and we've got to take care of us. The county touts spending a lot of money, but the county is not always honest about where that money is coming from, nor do we have qualitative or quantitative evidence for where the money went. We just know dollars came in, dollars went out. Let's talk about the school budget. 2.6 billion dollars. A lot of that money comes from the federal government. By law, federal law requires it. A larger portion of it comes from the state by law, because we have 135 students in our classrooms. Prince George's County only invested $35 million out of the funds collected from our property taxes into our school system. And because state law says maintenance of effort, meaning once you put in 35 million, you can never go lower than that. That's been the number for a very long time. So the county tells us they're investing a lot in us, but not so much. So let's not talk about competing with other counties, because other counties are investing more of their dollars into social programs, public schools, social services, family services. Now, how do we make the county better so that we can collaborate with surrounding counties? Prince George's County is a prime piece of real estate. Very easy to get money because we're so close to the federal government. Federal government wants to see us do well. We can get grants from the federal government to do more, but we're not asking for it. Monies we've gotten from the state has actually gone back to the state because we've not used it. So we've got to start using our resources so that we get effective benefit for our citizens, and we can stand tall and stand equal right next to Montgomery, Howard, and Anne Arundel counties.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. The next question. Can you share how your professional background prepares you for the skills to set the vision, develop strategy, manage budgets, policies, internal politics to successfully lead.
Thank you. First of all, let me just go back and clear up something that was said that was untrue. First of all, there's no secret about how budget works in the county. This is a transparent process that has to happen by law. We have to operate by law, which means that there's a budget process that is open to the public. There's a public hearing where we share everything there is to know about the budget. The county council likewise has to review that budget and approve it. So this is not something that is done in secret. You can find out any day of the week, everything that you need to know about the budget. That information is also able to be obtained by the public. Every single dollar that is spent has to be accounted for. And so there's no secret, no magic. There's no dollar that you can't know about because that is a public process. I also should tell you that there was a mention about other counties investing more dollars. That's because 70% of, for example, Montgomery County's revenues come from business and commercial taxes, not like Prince George's County where it comes from your residential property taxes. They have taken the time to invite Marriott Corporation and other businesses that help them to pay for the goods and services that you desire. DC is a perfect example. Their budget is almost $20 billion. Prince George's budget is $5 billion. And that is because we don't have as much business. And so we have to account for that. In terms of professional background, I am the only person running in this race who has executive experience. I have, as I mentioned to you, I began my career in 1997 as a prosecutor. I have overseen both the Revenue Authority for 7 years, worked as the elected prosecutor for 8 as an executive, and now I am currently in my nearly my 4th year here as county executive. And so I have a lot of experience and long years in public safety and crime, also business, and now as an executive overseeing the school system, the police department, the fire department, Department of Corrections, permitting inspections and enforcement, and all of the other agencies. And so I've been really blessed to have a lot of executive experience. In fact, as I said, the only executive on the stage.
Thank you, Ms. Alston-Brooks. Ms. Sweat?
Contrary to what you just heard, I spent my entire career in the executive branch of the United States government. My leadership training came from our military. I started in Air Force Junior ROTC in high school, got a 4-year Air Force ROTC scholarship that paid my way through college, entered the Air Force as a 2nd lieutenant. I left as a major, 04, I was an officer. So I've led people and I continue to lead people throughout my career. As a civil servant, I worked as a staff attorney. I worked as an advisor to political appointees, elected officials, and senior executives in the United States government. And as I mentioned earlier, I managed a nationwide program, meaning I ordered people to get on a plane, to go into a bank, find out what was going on, why people were suffering discrimination, and bring back a report so that we could take action. That included managing a multi-million-dollar budget every year. So I may not have been your county executive. This might be my first time running for office, but I assure you, I know what politics is all about. I wrote the stuff that the politicians say. I know how they lie to get votes. I know they don't always tell you the truth. I know they tell you you can get the information and when you get it, it's redacted. I used to be the person who did that. I understand our federal level of government. I understand our state level of government, and I have a very good understanding of our local government. And I'm here to tell you it's not doing everything that's in the best interest of Prince Georgians. I can do that. I've served people my entire career, and I will continue to do that until the day I die.
Thank you, Ms. Sweat. Ms. Alston-Brooks? I'm sorry. Mr. Hardy?
Yes. First, let me say, when we talk about having experience, experience is something that we all gain by a transient process, just by being elected, she has experience. Well, my opponent has experience. But when it comes down to it, are you managing effectively? Are you managing efficiently? When several of your departments are being sued, are you doing what's necessary for your county? The school system is being schooled. That's part of the department, of under the different branches of the executive branch where we have also the housing department, which was, mismanaged as well. We have our police department that has been mismanaged as well. And we talk about being an executive. You have to make sure that your house is in order. And there's a leak in this building. I tell you that much. We have not administered our ERAP funds effectively and efficiently. That process was a shambles. People are still trying to get their money, and business owners as well. When we talk about reviewing and oversight, the council did not review and have oversight when we spent $24 million on a lawsuit to defend racism, discrimination, and harassment in the police department. But to answer your question, my experience, I am an Air Force veteran. Have always been a leader. I have always been the youngest guy in the room, in any rooms that I've walked in. And I take pride in that, knowing that I am carrying the torch of my ancestors. I believe in politics like Fannie Lou Hamer, who believe that we must do it right by our people, and Malcolm X, that by any means necessary. I am an emergency manager. I worked at FEMA at the National Integration Center at the headquarters, where I was responsible for providing guidance for non-government organizations to federal, local, state, tribunal agencies about how to respond, prepare, and mitigate to disasters. And I ran out of time. Visit my website, hardyforpg.com, and see the rest of my bio, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bolton?
Question again?
The question is, can you share how your professional background prepares you for the skills to set the vision, develop strategy, manage budgets, policies, internal politics to successfully lead?
Well, again, playing football, I've been a leader all my life. In sports, I've been a leader, obviously, leading a family. And I believe that leadership is about accountability, integrity, holding yourself to a higher standard, holding others to a higher standard, demanding excellence from yourself and others. And that's what a leader is. And I've been that in my life, in my career, and I've gotten from the bottom to the top, and I know what it takes to be that. And an executive is, you're a representative of the people. And I want to represent the people in the right way. And I have the best interests of the people at heart. Because again, through my 9 years playing, not only was I a leader on the field, but I was a leader through foundation work. And I came back here, I gave scholarships, I've given my time, I volunteered, toys, I've given meals, and that's really, in my opinion, what a leader should do, is to show the people that you're there for the people, because that's what the vote is. Your vote is to give the power to someone that's going to represent you in the right way. We talk about spending all these dollars, right? But you can throw money at anything, but if you don't have good leadership, then it's not going to be great. So in my experience and what I've done, I can lead not only professionally, but I want to lead the people and give them everything that they need and put them first. And I don't think they've been put first, and so they need to start being put first. And I do want to say, we need to start taxing big businesses. She talked earlier about, getting revenue. We need to start taxing the big businesses instead of our residents.
Thank you. The next question, we'll start with Ms. Sweat. Have you thought about a property tax structure for seniors?
Yes, I have. the county executive is not responsible for setting that tax structure. However, under the county charter, the county executive can recommend and advocate for one. And I will tell you, and this is a dirty word, but we have to go there. It is true that trim limits what the county council can do in terms of taxes. That is a barrier to how we can effectively address our revenue issues. For our seniors, we can always give, we should give a greater homestead credit. Right now, if you're a disabled vet, you're 100% disabled, you don't pay any property taxes. You can be 100% disabled vet at the age of 35 and not pay any taxes on your home. I don't have a problem with that. I am a vet. I'm not 100% disabled, but those who are have made a great sacrifice defending our nation. So I don't have a problem with that. We can do something very similar for our senior citizens. It doesn't have to be free, but we definitely can give a greater tax break than what we do now. I will work with our county council to address the barrier called trim and look at rewriting our tax code so that we can take care of our seniors, make it affordable for them to stay here, because too many of them are selling their homes and relocating because it's too expensive.
Thank you. Mr. Hardy?
Yes, I have thought about it. It has been mentioned to me many times by constituents within the community. The latest is no property taxes, and some says no taxes on some of their income as well. But for what I can do, as was mentioned, advise and advocate for, and I am advocating for our property taxes to mirror our neighbors in the region. But as far as seniors, we have to have a tax structure that supports them and make sure that we're not displacing them as well. Our evolutionary elders have paid a great cost and debt to our society, and we must make sure that we are not putting grandma and grandpa on the streets. So yes, I have thought about it, and it is part of what I plan to do in advocating for a fair property tax for all, and especially our most vulnerable citizens as well.
Thank you. Mr. Booton? My apology.
So yeah, I think seniors, they've done a lot for the county throughout their years, and they should be rewarded for that. And so you have to fight for, again, the underserved, and you got to fight for the people that have come before us and that helped this county become what it is. And so it's always needed, and they do need advocates for their structuring of their life, you know what I mean? And we have to take care of them. And like they talked about, that's something that the county council has to do. But again, as a leader, you have to, demand that these things are done. And that's what I am. Again, I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe in. And I do believe that the citizens need to be taken care of, as well as the children, again, because they're in fragile, times of their life. So I definitely am an advocate for that, and will fight for our seniors to get the tax credits that they need to live the rest of their life here in the county.
Thank you. Ms. Austin Brooks?
Thank you. So I think this question goes toward what are we doing for seniors? So there was recently a tax credit that was authorized last week by the county council that offers individuals who are 65 years old or older, who have owned their homes for at least 10 years and where the assessed value of the home is $500,000 or less. So that is something that is currently being done. The cost, we believe, of that program is about $10 million over 5 years. It is something that's comparable with what we have seen in similar jurisdictions. You should know that we are also investing in affordable housing. I mentioned the $56 million. That is primarily to benefit seniors through our right of first refusal program, where we are buying properties along areas such as the Purple Line and some of the other developing areas in the county. We work with developers to redevelop those homes and keep them beautiful and to keep the rental rates low. That is to benefit seniors. We also have the Housing Investment Trust Fund, which we're using to make sure that we're helping seniors stay in their homes, as well as other individuals who are working. This is workforce housing. We're also investing in transportation. This is another need the seniors have expressed to us. Bought 11 new buses, and rewrote bus routes to make sure that our seniors have transportation, affordable housing, and that they're able to stay in their homes. And so these are some of the things that we're doing to make sure we're serving seniors.
Thank you. Mr. Bobby, this question goes to you. How would you lead the county government to encourage economic development and job growth?
This is me.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, say it again. I apologize.
How would you lead the county government to encourage economic development and job growth?
Job growth, again, we have to create, more jobs. And I think, again, programming is again, a big thing on my end, as far as, again, education. And if we can, create centers and create more programs, and we can create more jobs,
I got it.
for our youth,
I got it.
we can create more jobs for our youth. And then that type of development just grows, and the programming that they are getting from these, from the schools and the programs, they can go out and have better jobs and be more competitive than they are with other people in the county.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brooks?
So Prince George's County created more jobs than any jurisdiction in the state of Maryland for 6 consecutive years. This was done by using a few different methods. One was to invest in transit-oriented development around the 15 metro stations in the county. We have done that again through investing in the roads around areas like Arena Drive, along 202. You'll see those investments in Suitland. I've mentioned New Carrollton. You'll see Largo. You'll see the Hampton Park Mall. So we're making investments in various areas, primarily around transit, to increase economic development. We are also making sure that we are investing in our county agencies. The Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement is one of the areas that we've made huge investments in technology all throughout the government. Permitting and inspections, the Office of Central Services, where procurement happens. So we have digitized many of the forms that we've used in our agencies have now been digitized to make it easier for businesses to do business with Prince George's County, to make sure, again, that we are competitive with surrounding jurisdictions. This is a very competitive region, and we're making sure that we're keeping up by investing in our agencies and, again, making important infrastructure investments, 120 million plus in stormwater management, for example, in the southern part of the county to prevent flooding, and making sure, again, that we're making these really important investments that will attract to us investments.
Thank you. Ms. Sweat?
Yes, when you look at the county's labor force, at least 70% of that labor force works for the federal government. Out of what's left, about half works for the county government. The jobs that the county claims to have created all involve fast food restaurants, small shopping venues, but we've not created any jobs in industry or in trade. Our labor unions tout having their headquarters all here in Prince George's County. Recently, at the open house for those labor unions, the students who were brought in to learn about being apprentices on construction sites came from schools in Virginia and other counties in Maryland. Not one Prince George's County high school was represented. We have to deal with our education system if we're going to encourage real development and job growth in areas that will give our residents a livable wage. I'm not talking about just $15 an hour. Construction workers make 25, 35, 75, 85, in some instances, $100 an hour. But we've got to educate our workforce who's not already employed so that when they fill out a job application, employers don't throw them in the trash. And then we have to bring industry here that is willing to pay the prevailing wages to Prince Georgians.
Thank you, Mr. Harding.
Yes, I definitely want to highlight, when we talk about, flooding and funds that we are doing, that we talk about the central part of our county as well that has been overbuilt. When we talk about flood and stormwater management, we have to make sure that we keep that in mind. And also, I'm glad to know that our county has finally complied with the Paper Reduction Act. So I think that's important. What I would do to encourage development and job growth in the county, my goal is to use technology and green jobs to create an industry here in Prince George's County. It's crucial and important because by 2030, we are slated to lose over 11 million jobs to green jobs and technology. And we're only going to get 10 million back. So it's crucial and important that we start preparing our youth today for jobs of tomorrow that are really already here, because they have already started the applications for NASA. I want to make sure that our kids are able to be either the TikTok celebrities that they want to be, or that they're able to go to the moon and further beyond. In order to do that, we have to make sure that our education system is top notch, but also want to invest in retraining programs and more CTE for our young adults and for our adults and seniors. It's crucial because, like I said, if we're going to be losing this amount of jobs, we have to be prepared for what's next to come. So that's part of what I want to do, is also invest in the county and the people here. And as far as our permitting section, you know, I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I know that there are still some issues, and even the permit section is being sued for money for not issuing permits for the Iverson Mall, and other things that are happening in our county that we must be aware of that's happening in our departments. But yes, economic development and job growth, I do have a plan for that, and my vision is strong. Thank you.
Thank you. We're coming to a close because we promised to get you out by 9 p.m. and we will be prompt and on time. So we're going to start with our closing remarks. We started in alphabetical order. We will end in alphabetical order. Ms. Elsa Brooks?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to our moderator, Ms. Starks, and thank you as well to the League of Women Voters. I want to thank the National Panhellenic Council, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and NAACP, as well as everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I have enjoyed being your county executive over the last 3 years. We have really mounted so many challenges together, including a global pandemic that saw Prince George's County with the highest infection rate. And we now have over the last several months had one of the single lowest infection rates in the county, as well as one of the highest vaccination rates. And we have recovered nearly 100%. We will have recovered by the end of the year of the jobs that we've lost. This is a remarkable county. In spite of our challenges, we've been able to build schools. We've been able to open a mental health facility. We opened the first of its kind Veterans Center in the state. And we've been able to do much for our seniors, but we still have a lot to do, making those important investments for our kids, making sure that we are in healing and holding accountable those who are committing violent crimes in our county. This is work that we will continue to do together, as well as continue to build an economy that our kids will be able to inherit, a community that they will be able to be proud to live in. And this is work that we will do together. So I thank you all so much for your engagement tonight. I thank you for holding us accountable. I thank you for caring about Prince George's County. I love this county. I have lived here all 51 of my years, and I hope that you have been able to see the passion that I feel for the county and the true commitment that I have now and will always have for Prince George's County. So thank you so much for the honor of serving you. I have enjoyed it in spite of all of our challenges. This is a tremendous county, and I thank you so much again for being here and for allowing me. I ask you to reelect me as your county executive so that we might continue to build together. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bargan?
Yes, I want to thank you guys for having this, as well, and, I just want to, just talk about leadership, and leadership, again, is about integrity, it's about accountability, it's about transparency, and, I think that's what we need in leadership, and it's been lacking. We've had, too many broken promises throughout my years of being in Prince George's County, and I think, it is time for change. We always talk about change, and I think, in politics, there's no diversity, and I don't mean race, I don't mean gender, I mean, people need to be represented as far as, advocates for the community activists, because there's no diversity, and so the people's voice is never heard. The people's voice is always heard after the fact, and then we just have to go along with, what was said, and I feel like, me being a political outsider is something that is needed in politics, because that's the only way it's going to change. If you keep electing someone that has gone up in this same system that has been broken for us for a long time, it's going to continue to be broken. Again, I said it before, we can throw money all day long at something, but if you don't have the leadership and appoint the right leaders, doing these jobs in the departments and the services and demanding excellence like other counties are demanding excellence, then we're going to keep, being the next to last or not the county that we all want Prince George's to be. So I would love to be your next Prince George's County executive, to be your voice, to be the strong leader that we need in the county to get things done the way they need to get done, and to have our children, citizens, our seniors, and have the future the way it needs to be, because we're lacking in a lot of things, and if we don't change now, the future isn't going to be bright for us. And so I please encourage you to go out and vote for me, Lee Bodden, because again, I'm the voice of the people, and I want everything right for the community, and I'm fighting for the community, and that's all I want to see is the people prevail. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hardy?
In 1984, Jesse Jackson did a speech, David and Goliath. Right now, you got a choice and you got a chance to do something different. To remain in the stagnation that we have for so many years and talk about what we could do, not what we will do, is the testament. We have had broken promises for many years that should have only taken one. Return to an all-elected school board, 2-day trash pickup, fix our litter problem and our crime problem. And yet, crime has increased. We have not had accountability in this county. We have not done the things that we were supposed to do. I ask you today, Prince George's, will you do what's necessary to stand up to Goliath? Will you use your voice, your vote, in order to do something different? You got a choice and you got a chance, Prince George's County, to fulfill promises. We talk about moving forward, but where are we moving forward to and in what direction? You've got a choice, Prince George's County. I urge you to do something different, to stand up for our county, to make sure that we are all counted for. A vision for this county that exceeds beyond 2035. I've been an activist and advocate for Prince George's County for a very long time, and I continue to do that today. I will do it tomorrow and after the election, because that's who I am. I urge you to elect somebody who is going to use that office, not for just its executive privileges, but also to be a voice for the voiceless, to shelter the homeless, to feed the poor, to look out for the middle class, to protect our citizens, to make sure that we have livable, clean communities that are safe, efficient, smart. Prince George's, you've got a chance to do something different. I know many of you all today have come with your hearts, with your minds made up, but I ask you to use your heart. In the words of Moms Mabley, if you always do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sweat,
Can we can just leave?
Ms. Sweat,
Yes, first I want to thank the League of Women Voters and the National Panhellenic Council and those who've sponsored this event, the NAACP and others. I want to thank the audience for being here. I especially want to thank the virtual audience for staying here despite the technical difficulties. I hope that this presentation was recorded and can be released so that those who didn't get to hear some of the remarks because of the technical difficulties can hear them. I am running to be your next county executive because it's time to stop special interest from running this county. It's time that we run this county in a way that takes care of our children, our seniors, our middle-agers like me. Like I say, from cradle to grave, if you're a Prince Georgian, we must be here to serve you. That's all I know, is service to my fellow man. And that's what I plan to do. I offer to you my skills, training, expertise, background, and all of my years working for politicians to get it right here at home. I chose to live here. My children were born here. This is their legacy. And I have to agree with some of what Mr. Biden has said. I have to agree with some of what Mr. Hardy has said. If we keep doing what we've been doing, we're gonna keep getting what we've been getting. We can keep throwing money at it, but money ain't gonna solve it. Until we roll up our sleeves, put on our boots, put on our big girl panties, and do the hard work, we'll never be effective. We will not be beneficial to our children. Preserve our legacy. Elect me so we can have a stronger Prince George's County.
No, actually,
thank you, Ms.
can I
Sweat.
actually say just one last thing?
No, I'm
earlier,
sorry.
I wasn't here earlier.
We're out of time,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Okay.
Make your dreams come true like I did. I can do
I'd
it.
like to,
Can
share
do it
with
for
you
us.
that, Ms. Alsobrooks stated that she apologized. She had to leave, an emergency is going on in the county. I'd like to thank you, the audience. You were beautiful. You stayed the whole time. We appreciate all the questions. We want to thank those who are virtual for your questions. I hope we got to the most important questions for you so that you can make an informed decision. I want to thank you, the candidates, for coming out of your busy schedule to be here with us tonight. Thank you so much. It was great hearing from each and every one of you. We want to thank our sponsors, the National Panhellenic, it's late, the National Panhellenic Council, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Psi Sorority, the Social Action Committee, PGCAC. We want to thank them for sponsoring this event tonight. We want to thank the League of Women Voters. We have our president with us, Ms. Gloria Johnson. We want to thank her for coming out, our timekeeper, Ms. Barbara Taha, and the person who did the questions, Ms. Tammy Norman. We want to thank our volunteers who were working, helping to pick up the cards and greeting you at the door and helping with the candidates. We want to thank the Prince George's Community College staff for allowing us to come out and have this room and make it convenient for each and every one of you. If I miss thanking someone, just thank yourself, and we appreciate your coming. Be safe, and a good night to you.
Lee Bodden, Prince George's County Executive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. And the sponsors. Don't go anywhere, they want to take a picture. Don't leave. Thank you. Thank you. Can you do me a favor?
Testing, testing.
Yes. Miriam, you want to take a picture with the candidate? Okay.